Koviana. Naitumin Piareqallartillutanillilaukagunnaqama arianai sivullerpaami James Area quyannameerumayara auratiittiavaunnerman. First, before I give my closing remarks, I know James just thanked everyone for the coordination of this Land Claims Agreements Coalition Conference, but I just want to thank James for being up here for the first 2 days, right? Wow, 2 days have already come and gone, hey. This is the 5th Land Claims Agreement Coalition Conference that has been held, and it's the first one that I've attended. And I just wanted to thank each of you for coming and leaving your families, leaving your communities, and coming here to participate in the last 2 days that were filled with so much information sharing and learning from each other. We all come from different backgrounds, and we all come with different responsibilities, duties, and goals. But we come together to discuss one thing, our modern treaties, what they mean and how they can be implemented. One of the things that has really impressed me over the last 2 days is the space that we've created where we can learn from each other. In particular, I'd like to focus a little bit about the hope and optimism that I touched upon yesterday morning when I gave my welcoming remarks. This was reiterated this morning when Lee Naivik lit the Qudliq and spoke about the reclaiming and rebuilding of Inuit in Nunavut, rooted in Inuit culture and language. One of the things she talked about is Aunnervik, and she talked about that as a place of transition, a place where Inuit would camp as they waited for the seasons to change, where they would learn and hone their skills and prepare their tools. She suggested that the time that we're experiencing, the time that we're at, is this period of Aunnervik, and I really like that concept. And I know in the center of my universe, in Nunavut, I can see that. I see pockets of Inuit who are reclaiming who they are, rebuilding who they are, being proud of being Inuit, and going off and leaving their communities and learning new skills and learning and preparing themselves so that they can be better able to move forward on the dream we had of Nunavut. I would suggest that for many of us, and I heard this at different plenaries and different sessions, that many of us as Inuit and as Indigenous people sometimes have to leave our home communities and learn new things and experience new learnings that will help us, that may be different than our own worldview, but that will help us better navigate the system that we have to work against. Because once we're able to understand that better, we're in a better position to be able to help our own people, to make life better in our communities. And after all, that's what we're all working towards when we're working towards implementing our modern treaties. We're working towards making lives better for our people in our communities. I'd like to add that the Auditor General pointed out that conditions in communities are also fundamentally important, and we all know that. Each of us knows that in this room, in our communities. A basic purpose of the Nunavut Agreement was to encourage self-reliance and the cultural and social well-being of Inuit. That is our basic intent. Improvement in the social, economic, and health conditions of people living in our communities is essential. As has been stated, governments change, priorities change, but our goal will always be to make lives better for our people in our communities. This goal has to be fulfilled, and we will be tenacious as we continue to work towards that. The Prime Minister has said that no relationship is more important to him or to Canada than the relationship with Indigenous peoples. He has also spoken on the need to look at the spirit and intent of our agreements. Our modern treaties must be respected and implemented in a robust way, with the Crown acting honorably in this engagement. I want to finish my remarks by pointing out that the Coalition has released a detailed proposal to establish a Modern Treaties Implementation Review Commission, and I believe that proposal is on everyone's tables. This is an important proposal, and I would like to go back to the concept that Lena Ivik shared with us this morning, Aunnervik, because I urge each of us, all of us coalition members, that we need to continue to work on building our capacity. We need to continue to work on honing our skills and preparing our tools so that we can be prepared for when the Prime Minister accepts and supports the proposal we have put forward. I want to thank my good friend Ronnie Campbell, who was up here in plenary and suggested that it would be legislated. And I've already mentioned, and I'll mention again, governments change. So I think it's crucial that we work towards getting it legislated so that when government does change, we still have that assurance. In Inuktitut, we don't say goodbye. We say takurare until we meet again, until we see each other again. So with those, I want to say takurare safe travels back to your communities, to your families. Takurare.
Thank you, Aluki. Chiefs, matriarchs, honored guests, distinguished guests, to all of our youth. I want to take this opportunity as one of the co-chairs to also thank the Algonquin Nation for allowing us to have this very important conference on the unceded territory. I also want to thank Joe for his excellent work. Thank you to all of the participants who participated, attended, made presentations at the conference. For me, this is about the second or third LCAC conference I've attended during my tenure with the Nisga'a Nation. These are very important sessions as we move forward to improve the lives of our people. We hear messages from ministers, we hear messages from the deputy ministers, we hear messages from bureaucrats, we hear messages from First Nations. We also hear messages and experiences from our modern day treaty partners. And this is what we call working together to arrive at improving the lives of our people. The Land Claims Coalition has a big job to do following this conference. We have a leadership meeting tomorrow that must take a look at our next steps going forward. It's very exciting to hear terminology, new relationships, new way forward. And I think it's important that as modern treaty groups that we build upon this. We come up with strategies on how we're going to walk together, how we are going to walk together with these new relationships that have been presented to us, and that we must keep the momentum going with what the Prime Minister is doing. It's very important. I want to thank my co-chair, Luki. It was my pleasure meeting you. And I think I look forward to further work with you as we walk together to help one another find that new relationship. I want to thank all the participants once again. I think it's important that we recognize the new generation of leaders. I was very moved by the presentation of the new generation of leaders as they come into what our leaders of the past have negotiated. So very moving to hear the voices of our children, the very voices that we were talking about 30, 40, 50 years ago, many of us were talking about. We were talking about those very children that we heard on the panel today. So again, I want to thank those new generations of leaders that presented. Also, like Aluki, we don't say goodbye. We say we shall see you again. And I look forward to meeting with the leadership of the LCAC tomorrow. Thank you.